Hey, what's up? Dean's here. Performance. We're at the shop today, and we are working on Zen. Um, I got the battery cables all hooked up. It's on the charger now, but up front, I got the charge pipe in. So I put the IAT sensor. Holly calls it MAT, manifold absolute temperature, or something like that. So I got that bung welded in, all clamped all the way. It fits good. And then I did the alternator up top. I made a spacer for it and changed the pulley to a 6-rib pulley, and then made the tensioner down low. I don't know if that's in the other one. So basically, the water pump should be here either today or tomorrow. I think it was today. So once I get the water pump on there, I can measure for a belt and then make sure it works, but it should work. I already kind of looped the tape measure around the crank pulley and alternator pulley, and I cranked it out, and I get probably like 2 to 3 inches of belt length difference. I got the coils mounted. I split the bracket and mounted the front 2 cylinders to the front of the strut tower, the back 2 cylinders to the back of the strut tower on that one, and it worked out good. And then I used like a Holley coil harness, just so I don't have to undo like a factory one and make it look all sloppy. But on this side, you got the brake cylinder. So what I did was I stacked the 2 brackets basically off of like the heater hose. So on the coil bracket, there's that bracket that comes off, and it's got a flat on it, and that's usually where like the big round clip pushes in for the heater hoses. It's actually like a double thing, and both heater hoses clip into it. But it worked out good that I take the front bracket, bolt it to there, and then take the back bracket and bolt it through the strut tower, and again with the Holley harness. Pretty sure I got them all plugged in right. We shall see. But then I took the factory harness that comes down. I have to clip these wires out, but not 100% on what this one is. This wire is actually splits into 2 and goes over to those 2 right there. And then those are the alternator wires. So what I did was this yellow goes on the solenoid. And there was, I believe, yeah, there it is down there. That little orange with like a blue stripe or something. I came back here on the harness, cut it open. It's a giant mess right now. But these are the 4 wires that go to this. See how this one splits into 4 right here, and you can't tell what color they are, but they're really gooey and rubbery. So I didn't want to reuse this end, being that they're gooey and rubbery. Make sure these things don't flood down. Not sure what that one does yet, but so I connected all of those into my big main power wire off the starter. This wire goes all the way down to the starter, and then this is my starter solenoid, which is that orange with a blue stripe that was over there. So those are done. Yeah, a bunch of stuff today actually. And then underneath the dash, I just pushed these 2 into the clutch safety switch for now. I'm going to end up cutting the plug off and crimping those 2 wires onto the 3 wires that are behind it, those orange with a blue stripe. And then they're over here, so I ran them up through there, down along inside sort of most of the way, and they come out through the shifter. And now what that'll let me do is, there, they come out through the shifter, and what that'll let me do is put a neutral safety switch over here, Said you can't start the car in gear, but you turn the key on and your little seatbelt dude comes on, the volt meter goes up, radio comes on. Not sure if I don't. Oh, look at that, it lights up. I don't know what it does, or if we can make it work. Not 100% sure, but it shows low battery voltage, and I'm not really sure why. And it could just be that battery is too small, or whatever the case may be. So basically right now, if I roll the key forward, there's nothing. Also, you can see the terminator is all wired up. So these two blue, when I connect them together, and then turn the key, hiya. Oh boy, hold on. Oh. Okay, so twist them together and then turn the key. It actually cranks over with the key. So I may put this on a toggle switch. I'm not really sure right now. And then I went ahead and I mounted the shifter. This is super old quarter stick that I had laying around off of like my very first car. I have to patch the hole, and then my ball, my old ball, this used to be my trans brake, which I'm thinking I might make a two-step for him off this button, or he could just get a new ball to put on there. Terminator's wired up. Also the fuel pump, I ran a new wire all the way to the back, and where these have the there's like a reset. Oh, I put the panel back on. There's, you know, that crash reset thing, so if you get banged in the back you have to reset it. They had eliminated that, and they had a relay in there, and it was all janky wired up. So I took that out, and this green wire here comes all the way over and connects into the fuel pump wire right here, which is this black with a pink stripe on there. And I tested it, I put power to it, and you hear the pump come on. Don't think there's any fuel in the tank. I'm positive there's not any fuel in the tank, so I didn't want to run the pump too long. I just whacked it with some power and it turns on. The battery mount is too big. The tray, actually, you can see it's too big. But again, I haven't fully decided what I'm going to do with the battery. And this big zero gauge goes down to like a fuse sort of under the frame. I ordered another set of zero gauge cables, and I think what I'm going to do is replace this positive cable all the way front to back and see if I get a better crank, because I know I'm losing voltage. The power wire, the key-on power wire for the Terminator X stays 13 volts when I go to start position, but with it hooked up and actually cranking the motor, all the lights cut out. So that tells me it's a voltage drop, which I'm going to assume you hear the motor's not cranking over good. So it's either a bad starter, or not enough big enough battery, or not enough size cable running to the starter. Which I don't know about that, because I've used that gauge cable before. So I'm not sure if that's the issue. It very well could be the issue. So we'll replace it, see if that fixes it, move on from there. I do have another starter, a brand new one on the shelf over there for the Monte Carlo. If I have to steal that one and replace it, I'll do that. But yeah, we're moving right along. I also set the pinion angle and built the drive shaft. We'll get it back up in the air. I'll pause while it's going up in the air. Okay, so the pinion angle really, it looks off right now, but when you set the car on the ground, it changes back, and it's roughly like at 3 degrees. But there's the old drive shaft that I had, and I cut it down. I think I cut 3 inches off of this, and you can see the yoke is in there. It's like a 5.5 inch yoke, but the output shaft on a 400 sticks out to about here. So there's about 3/4 of an inch pulled out, maybe half. I got the torque converter all bolted up and spaced. It needed to be spaced. 2 washers gave it about 1/16-ish to an 1/8 inch gap. So that worked out. And that is a stock 5.3 flywheel that I laid it on the converter. I think I laid it on the converter and drilled the holes. Oh, I do have the oil filter. I gotta run out and grab the oil filter, get that on. Waiting for the filter extension tube on a 400. It has like an extension tube that fits up in there. So I am waiting on that to come. Then I can get the filter in there, get the pan with the new gasket, get it all sealed up, and start putting fluid in it. Waiting on the transmission mount, like waiting. So that should be here hopefully this week. Here's that weird mega fuse thing I told you about, and then it goes down to this size cable. So like I said, I got this size cable coming. This is a 1 gauge, I believe, and this is like a 4 gauge. Yeah, this is a 4 gauge. So I'm gonna replace this with the 1 gauge, run all the way, get rid of this, see if that works. Not sure what that big blue wire is. Oh, actually that is a fusible link that's in the starter wire. Yeah, it's a fusible link that runs up to that big red cable. So if within the car it draws too much power, blah blah blah, whatever. What else did I do? Transmission lines are done. Put the fancy little holder on it. They're tight. I got to change this vacuum modulator. I have one off of my transmission, which has a trans brake now. So mine is one of the fancy adjustable ones. And then I'll run a rubber tube up to the back of the intake so that it's drivable and not always on like full pressure. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much it. Oh, the shocks to the strange adjustable shocks. So those are in. Eventually we'll most likely do coilovers on this, but for now he's just gonna kind of cruise it around low power, which I don't know what low power is anymore. 700-800, we'll see. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much waiting on parts now, which seems to be the story lately. Just waiting on parts. So as soon as the rest of the parts get here, we'll get them on. Hopefully the rails, the biggest thing is getting the fuel rails so I can fire the car up. But I'll get the ECU updated, the handheld updated. I'll get all that done, all the firmware, all the good stuff done, so that, and then I'll get the tune file loaded in. I've already made one for the car, like a very base tune, just to get the car fired up, and then we'll do all the tuning on it once it's running. But yeah, a little bit more to do. I got to do the boost control, the MAC valve I got to do all the vacuum lines for the Mac valve, and well, I don't know if they'd be vacuum lines, but for the Mac valve and the wastegates. I did the one for the blow off valve. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, I will probably end this car here for now, and I have Bobby Boucher's 2J Mustang in the other bay, and that needs to come over, and I kind of need to do a once over on the car, real good on the lift, check all the rear welds, and then brake lines and something else. I don't remember. There's a bunch of little odds and ends on his car. But yeah, it's some weird straight six. So it probably won't run here because it has like a kind of noise. Sounds weird. Kind of sounds like my S10 used to. But yeah, but anyways, I'm looking forward to that car. So I'll most likely get this one off the lift tomorrow, get that one over here on the lift, and start plugging away on that. So stay tuned for that video, or those videos, whichever it works out to be. And stay tuned for, hopefully it'll be the first fire up on Zach's Mustang in the next video, or the one shortly after. Fingers crossed we get the parts. Do me a favor, hit the like, hit the subscribe. It don't cost you nothing. Leave me a comment. Appreciate it. Have a good day.